Really, there's 5 pieces to a call that you need to like really pay attention to. So number 1 is our Trojan Horse introduction, right? So how do we get people? If we don't have a good introduction, how do we actually get people into conversation? We can't. And this is where most people are really, really weak on the phone, is the introduction. What do you think most people sound like when they start a call? How have you guys been trained?
Salesman, a salesperson.
Yeah. You're like this. Hey, is this Greg? Hey, Greg, how are you doing today? Right? We're talking. Smile. Act like you can see the person. Be high energy. As soon as you guys hear that, what do you think? It's a salesperson. Sales resistance goes where? Sales resistance goes up. You have to understand, sales is actually a dance between you and the prospect. Your goal is to keep sales resistance low. That's your goal. If sales resistance is low, conversation continues to happen. The longer a conversation is, the more information we can get, the more questions we can ask to get information. Why do we want information from the lead? To know how we can help them. That's right. You can't get here to a close unless you know how you can help them. In order for you to know how you can help them, you need to know what's their motivation. What's their motivation? What's their ability? What's their willingness, right? What's their pain, worries, and fears? Do they have the ability to move? And are they willing to work with you? These are the key pieces of the puzzle that you need to know to be able to close them. Without that, right, if you don't have that information and you try to close somebody on an appointment, and this is what most realtors do, who do they think the appointment is important to, them or you? You're now a salesperson who cares about getting an appointment because that's your quickest route to commission. You need to figure out what all their problems are so that you can show them. The whole point of an appointment is for you to give them a solution to their problems. Now, who's the call about? Them. But it all starts with the introduction. When I sound like a salesperson in that introduction, sales resistance is high. And when sales resistance is high, what do you think they want to do? They want to get off the phone. They want to end the call as quickly as possible because no one likes to be sold to, right? Think about it this way. Like, when's the last time you had something you actually wanted to buy, right? You knew you needed a new pair of running shoes. You went to the running shoe store knowing you needed running shoes. And you walk in and the salesperson says, hey, how can I help you today? Or can I help you? What do you say? Nah, I'm just looking. I'm good. Why? You know you need a pair of shoes. It's because innately people hate being sold to. We hate making commitments. We don't want to make any commitment at all. And we hate salespeople. And so sales resistance is high. It makes it really difficult to get into conversation with people, to get into discovery, right? Here's where most people fail. It starts with the tone. We've been taught to be high energy, enthusiastic, and salesy. But this just results in that sales resistance going up and that wall being put up, right? The Trojan Horse tone is to be low energy, almost sound confused. You're lost, okay? You have to understand also there's a bit of a hierarchy at play with tonality. When you're speaking in a high tone, it's almost like you're asking someone else permission. And when you're asking someone else permission, you're giving them the power, okay? You need to hit a call with acting like you're someone's equal. You don't need anything from them at all because you guys all have to remember, you don't need anything from these people. You have other leads rolling in. You're calling them to help them. And that has to be your mindset. And that mindset has to come across in your tonality. That it's just confidence. I have something that you want. It's valuable. Do you want it? That's your mindset going into these calls. So just to give you an example, instead of, hi, is this Greg? Speaking. Oh, hey, Greg, how you doing today? It's just Ryan calling from North Group. I saw that you just signed up on for a list of homes with great backyards. Did you have a moment to talk? What's Greg saying? Nah, I'm busy right now. So Trojan Horse, the Trojan Horse intro, how do we change it? Well, lower tone. Hi, is this Greg?
Yep. Who's calling?
Yeah. Hey, Greg, this is just Ryan calling from the North Group. You had signed up for a list of properties with backyards, and I was just calling to make sure that you had received that list. Did you get that?
I believe I did. Yes.
Now Greg's kind of like, are you even a sales guy? Who is this guy? And if he is a sales guy, he's not going to be good at his job, so he's not going to be able to sell me anything, right? What happens to sales resistance? It's down, right? So that's the start of the script. You say yes. And then I say, awesome, Greg. Listen, I know you're probably, and that shouldn't say bye, it should say busy. I know you're probably busy, but yeah, you can seed buys. I know you're probably busy with the long weekend coming up or Valentine's Day coming up or whatever. Just insert a time. What does this do?
Interrupts the pattern.
But also heads on the number one objection that most people get on the phone. You're acknowledging that they're busy. They can now not give you the objection, I'm too busy right now. You've already you're pre-handling objections, okay? I know you're probably busy with it almost being lunchtime. But if you had just 17 seconds, could I ask you a quick question? Why do I say 17 seconds? What you said last time is correct, Greg. It's a pattern interrupt. It throws them off because it's an obscure number. When you say if you had just a minute, they're like, oh, you're going to pitch me something. If you have if you say something normal, that's easy for them to think of. Sales resistance goes up and they think sales. So you're trying to give them a pattern interrupt, right? It doesn't have to be 17 seconds. Just make it an obscure number. I like 27 seconds personally. I don't know why. It's just my obscure number that seems to work. Now, what are we also getting done here? Permission. They're giving us permission to continue the conversation, right? They're giving us permission to continue the conversation. What I do want to say to you guys is if you're not good at the introduction, guess what? Are you going to have conversations? No. And what we're going to cover next week, is it important at all if you can't get them into conversation? So this week, all I want you guys to focus on is promise me you're going to watch at least the introduction portion of Phone Pro. Okay. I think you need to watch the first 2 modules and then implement I don't want you to change anything else about your calls yet. Okay. I don't want you to change anything else about your calls yet. All I care about you changing is the introduction. And tell me if you get into more conversations than you've gotten into in the past. Keyshawn, do you already do something like this or do you do it differently?
The intro is very similar because it is trying to lower sales resistance.
Yeah.
A combination of lower tone, kind of confused, and just making sure if they got whatever it was.
Yeah.
The transition, not as much. Maybe I say something different, but like the intro part, pretty similar.
Okay. And what do you say that's different in the transition?
I think I start with like, are you looking for like a condo or a house? And
okay,
then
so you do your this or that early.
Yeah, and then I start because then they start unraveling stuff, and I kind of ask another this or that, like Mississauga or Toronto, or is it kind of flexible for you? But yeah, I kind of like my style.
Okay, and
although I'm like I'm open to using all of this, whatever works and whatever's helpful.
I like your this or that. I would just use this transition and then your this or that, right? Because this is giving you giving you permission to ask your this or that. When you throw your this or that out at them, so number one, you've handled them, like if you throw a this or that out them without permission and without acknowledging the I'm busy, it raises the likelihood that they just say, you ask the question, they say, listen, man, right now is not a good time. Or I'm busy. Whereas if you leverage this transition and then your first question is your this or that, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's great. Okay. Like I think your first question, and we'll give you examples next week of other great first questions, but using your this or that after this transition, because this transition does 2 great things. Number one, It handles the number one objection that we get, that they're too busy to take the call. Number two, it gives you permission to ask them that next question, which is then getting you into conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.